wow, this is not my day. Vimeo has screwed up 2 of these videos for me already, and so I have to redo this. There's something with the file that it just doesn't like, and I have to try and see if I can do this again. Not only that, I've tried to redo this one like 3 times, and I keep screwing it up. So, 4th time's the charm. Let's try this again. Here's the deal. The very first video I did was called One Vim, and it showed you how to take a simple command and load up files from a terminal window into Vim. And the command I chose, I alias it to G. I don't know why, go, gvim, whatever you want to say it is. I don't know why. It's in the middle of the keyboard. I like that. So it's vim --remote--silent. I'm going to load up all of the M files. That's done. And I figured, hey, that's all I need to tell anybody. We're finished right then and there. No, that was kind of dumb. You know, this was back when I was a little more naive. And, of course, people started asking me, so now what do I do? How do I switch buffers? How do I even see what I just loaded? It's like, those are some pretty good questions, and we're going to start covering those. We're going to do this over a series of videos. Today we're going to cover 3 simple things. Basic Vim, nothing spectacular, no plugins, none of this stuff. We're going to build on that. We're going to move forward into using plugins, going with Windows, splitting, seeing the same file, the same buffer through different windows, so you can see actually the same file in different ways, different lines, do whatever. But we're going to start slow. Today we're starting with listing buffers, with switching to different buffers, or switching between buffers, and deleting buffers. And that's it. So let's get going. You want to list a buffer, it's :ls. For all of you who know your Unix, you know ls by heart. And for those of you that don't know Unix or don't get to play with Unix, I pity the hell out of you, okay? I can't stand it when I don't have a good command line. So what do we see here? We see 6 buffers. We see number 19 here is a no-name buffer. This is the buffer that you get when you start up Vim. Unless you give it a command, unless you give it a file name, if you just start Vim, you get a no-name buffer. It's just a scratch buffer that you can do anything with. It isn't tied to a file. This is something important to understand. Buffers can be tied to files, but they don't necessarily get tied to files. A lot of the plugins that you may be using out there, say Nerd Tree Explorer, which a lot of people, or Nerd Tree, that a lot of people like, they're buffers, but they're not tied to files. Okay? So, but in this case, we're going to be dealing with buffers that are tied to files. So number 19 in this case is not. But numbers 20 through 24 are, and these are the ones that we loaded. So let's take a quick look here. We have the buffer number followed by a column I'm about to discuss. We have the file name, and we have the line number that it's on. Okay, a nice description. So let's, oops, oh, here we go. Let's do this again. Okay, so we now have this list of files. And we're going to see what this second column is, what these funky sharp H's and %A's in them are. So we do a help ls. Always, always, always go to the help when you don't understand something. Everything is in there. I'm going to be covering how to really navigate help in a future episode at some point. But for now, :h ls will get you there. We want to look at what these indicators are. So U is an unlisted buffer, and you can only see an unlisted buffer in a special way. And as luck would have it, help files are unlisted buffers. So I'm going to show you this by doing the ls bang. You can see in that description there for unlisted buffer that you have to put a bang on the end of it to see them. And there it is. Number 25 is windows.txt. Okay? Done. Now, we can see the rest of these. % is the current window, or the buffer that's in the current window. Sharp is the alternate buffer, which we're going to cover in a minute. A is an active buffer. It means it's loaded and it's visible. Hidden is a hidden buffer. The interesting thing about hidden buffers is that if you make a buffer hidden, then Vim will normally say, well, dude, you can't put a buffer, you can't make a buffer hidden if there's pending changes. So on my website, derekblyant.org, there's in the bare essentials of the VimRC says that you have to set hidden. because that allows you to put things in the background, put them as hidden, and leave them as having pending changes. There's really no problem with doing that, because you can't quit Vim unless you do a Q bang, okay, unless you do something like this, right? Or actually, even this would have to be what you do to quit Vim and have it delete or discard all your changes. It's pretty hard to quit Vim and have it blow things away on you. So I have absolutely no problem with putting hidden buffers that have modifications in them. Next we have a buffer that is currently not modifiable, and then there's read-only, and then there's something that has been modified, and something that has read errors. And I've never seen anything have read errors, so that would be a new one for me. Okay, so we can now list them. So how do we switch to them? Let's switch to number 22. Well, actually, let's do it this way. Buffer 22. And you can see there, if you're watching carefully, there's a short form, but let's go to buffer 22 first. There we go, buffer 22. Okay, we are now there. If we look at this, number 22 has the % and the A. Done. We can shorten that, of course, to B, and we can switch by name. Let's switch to the match it buffer. And you see that I typed mat tab. You can complete these. Very nice to have, to be able to complete things. So if you're gonna do it by name, that's a good way to go, because you don't have to remember numbers. I very rarely will change by number. I don't think anyone else really changes by number either. So now we're at match it, okay? And let's change to the mock one. Okay, that was motab, and we're there. So we've changed. Now, so we can change by number. We can change by word. We can also change by the alternate, which you're going to use a lot. See that sharp sign next to 21? That's the alternate buffer. That's the one I was just at, if you recall. So I can change to B sharp, and I can just keep switching back and forth between the most recently used buffer. You will use this a lot. Get used to it, because there's a lot of times when you're coding, especially if you're a C++ coder, you switch between the header file, the C++ file, the header file, the C++ file. Or if you're a Cocoa programmer. Or there's all kinds of things where if you nicely work your code, so you have tests and you have code and you each sort of one file for each, then you're constantly switching back and forth between the test file and the actual implementation file. So this is the way you go. Okay? B sharp, incredibly useful. Alright, so remember that one. That's essentially the crux of switching between buffers. So we've covered listing, we've covered switching. Now let's cover deletion. BD, L-E-E-L-E-T-E. B delete. This deletes, if you don't give it anything, it just deletes the current buffer. Oops, B delete. Of course, there's a short form for this. I'm never used to typing B delete. It's BD. BD. Okay? And now we have one buffer left. So let's delete 23. Okay? Now let's load up some more buffers because I need some. So let's load up the X ones. Alright? And there we go. We got some X ones. Now I want to delete the highlight. I can, oh sorry, BT highlight. I can delete by name. Can I delete more than one? Sure. 28 and 29. 2 buffers deleted. Take a listing. Okay? Now can I delete more than one by name? Sure. Let's take the plugin formatter and let's do the other one, the XP template. Done. Okay? So now you can delete more than one at a time. There's one last thing that you can do, and I'm just going to show you that by just loading up everything. You can actually delete by range. Okay, just like most things in Vim, it'll take a range. So I could say 1 to, well actually, what numbers do I even have here? Alright, let's do 22 to 24. I can do 22 to 24, buffer delete, 3 buffers gone. 22, 23, and 24 are gone. Well, I want to get rid of them all. Okay, so what I could do here is I could actually just use a shortcut. Percent means the entire range, and I could say BD. 42 buffers deleted. What a good number. Douglas Adams would just be ever so happy that that worked out that way. Okay, so what have we covered? We have covered LS. Right now I've deleted everything, so there's nothing there. So let's load them up just for fun. We've covered LS. We have covered even LS bang. See, there's 25. Has windows.txt again. Just because I closed it, I deleted that buffer, Vim did not unload it on me. So I can actually go back there really easily if I want to. Okay? I don't want to, so I'm not going to. We've covered switching buffers with the good old just B command. We can use tab to tab through them. Done. We can switch to the previous, the alternate buffer with B#. Just keep switching back and back and back. Okay? We have we've taken a look at changing buffers by number. Number 39 we can change to. Okay, then we've covered delete. So let's just delete the current one. Like so, delete the current one, current one, current one, current one. Of course, if there are pending changes in here, and actually I have this as not modifiable, so let's just say it's modifiable. So if I have pending changes, you can see that I have a plus sign next to the mark.vim in my status line there. So I couldn't delete this, but I could if I do it like that. Put a bang on there. Done. I want to now clean them all up. Just let's get rid of them all. We'll even put a bang there just to make sure. I really want to get rid of all these things. Don't bug me. Done. 39 buffers are gone. That's listing, switching, and deleting, folks. We're going to cover a lot more in the next number of these. I don't know how many there's going to be, but we're going to cover a lot more. Hopefully that'll help you get started. Enjoy. Read up on BD, B, and LS. Have a good one. Enjoy.